Today I'm sharing a recipe inspired by one of my favorite pastries ever, the chocolate croissant. Pain au chocolat. Pain au chocolat. That's me actually trying to pronounce. Now I'm making it even more scrumptious by using a chocolate puff pastry. That's right, chocolatey chocolate croissants. First thing you need to make is some laminated dough. Now this one in particular is one of the simplest forms of flaky pastry, and it slightly differs from your traditional croissant dough because it doesn't have any milk or yeast. But this one still produces those beautiful flaky layers of pastry that will feel so good in your mouth. You know how I love me a good mouthfeel. The special ingredient here is some cocoa powder. Simple, easy to get, and I've added it to both the butter and the dough layers. Now this dough isn't difficult to make, it's just time consuming. So I highly recommend making this recipe when you're just chilling at home. Here's how I made this dough last night. To make the butter layer, in a stand mixer with a paddle attachment, or you could also use a bowl with a spoon, combine softened butter with cocoa powder and bread flour. Spread the butter mixture onto some plastic wrap and then shape it into a rectangle. Then cover it up and chill it for 1 hour. Then immediately make the dough. In a stand mixer with a hook, again you could use a spatula and a bowl, add bread flour, all-purpose flour, cocoa powder, salt, and softened butter. Then gradually add ice cold water and let it mix until a rough dough forms. Then transfer it to a lightly floured surface and use your hands to knead it until smooth, just like a butt. Roll out your dough as best you can into a rectangular shape that's twice the size as your butter layer. Cover it up with plastic wrap and chill in the fridge along with your butter. It's best if you let it chill for about an hour, so use this time to catch up on some reading. Now to lock in the butter. Lightly flour your surface and lay out the chilled dough. Place the butter onto one short end of the rectangle, then fold over the other side and pinch the dough edges to enclose the butter. Then use a rolling pin in a rocking motion to lengthen the dough. Take your time here. Roll it into a long rectangle and fold the dough into thirds, kind of like a letter. Make sure to use a pastry brush to remove some excess flour, then cover it all in plastic wrap. And back into the fridge for another hour. Again, make use of this time. Go organize your closet. Now we can start building all those layers. Again, roll out the dough into a long rectangle. Then fold it into thirds, wrap it up, and this time chill for 30 minutes. And then you gotta repeat the process 3 more times, but in the meantime, do some light cleaning. Now it's time to make the croissants. Now I say quotations around the croissants because again, it's not made with proper yeasted dough, but that doesn't mean that it won't be buttery and tasty. I mean, look at me for example. I am far from proper, but I am damn tasty and buttery. Before we roll out the dough, I'm just chopping up some chocolate here. I have Bittersweet, you can use whatever you'd like. I'm just gonna use half of the dough first. So I'm gonna cut it in half so you can see those layers. So many layers, so many feelings. Lightly flour your surface and roll it out. The reason we want all those layers is because when this bakes in the oven, the water will evaporate from the butter, creating little puffs, and that's what creates those flaky bites. This looks good. All right. I'm just gonna square off the edges. Now we have to cut this into strips. You can measure it out by placing your chocolate, kind of estimating how big you want it. How big do you want it? So satisfying to just slice through all those layers. Here's how you roll them up. So you place your chocolate on the end closest to you, roll it up once, place some more chocolate on top, and then roll it all the way to the end. All right, just like that. So cute. Just transfer your little rolls onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. Make sure you give them a lot of space in between because they will puff up a bit. Now, take some egg wash. It's just an egg with a little bit of water and brush it on. Now remember, this isn't a yeasted dough, so you don't need to set it aside to proof rise or anything like that. This just goes into the oven at 400 until it's nice and browned. Even though it's chocolate, it will get a little more brown. And there you have it, chocolatey chocolate croissants. They smell amazing. Now as a final touch, because they aren't too sweet, I'm just gonna add a little bit of powdered sugar on top. And I love that color contrast. Ooh. And listen to the flakiness. Mm. Oh my god, look at this flake! Do you understand anything I just said? Highly recommend you give this a try. It is so damn good. The payoff was totally worth it.